1. 1. Polity and governance. Mains. 1.1 Parliament passes 3 criminal law reform bills. Context: the President has given her assent to 3 new criminal justice bills recently approved by Parliament. More on news. Z. The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, and Bharatiya Saksha Act will replace the colonial-era Indian Penal Code, 1860, Code of Criminal Procedure, 1973, and Indian Evidence Act of 1872. Key highlights of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, BNS. Z. Offences against the body. BNS retains the provisions of the IPC which criminalize acts such as murder, abetment of suicide, assault and causing grievous hurt. Vertical bar: it adds new offences such as organized crime, terrorism, and murder or grievous hurt by a group on certain grounds. Z. Sexual offences against women. It increases the threshold for the victim to be classified as a major, in the case of gang rape, from 16 to 18 years of age. Vertical bar: it also criminalizes sexual intercourse with a woman by deceitful means or making false promises. Vertical bar: remove sedition. Rajadroh: the BNS removes the offense of sedition. It instead penalizes the following: exciting or attempting to excite secession, armed rebellion, or subversive activities. Encouraging feelings of separatist activities, or endangering the sovereignty or unity and integrity of India. Vertical bar: these offences may involve the exchange of words or signs, electronic communication, or the use of financial means. Z. Mob lynching. It adds murder or grievous hurt by 5 or more people on specified grounds such as race, caste, sex, language, or personal belief as an offense. Vertical bar: the punishment for such murder is life imprisonment or death. Z. Petty organized crime redefined. The revised bill includes a precise definition of petty organized crime. Vertical bar: theft. Under it would include trick theft, theft from vehicle, dwelling house, or business premises, cargo theft, pickpocketing, theft through card skimming, shoplifting, and theft of automated teller machine. Key highlights of the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, Act 2023, BNSS. Z. Detention of under trials. As per the CRPC, if an accused has spent half of the maximum period of imprisonment in detention, he must be released on personal bond. This does not apply to offences punishable by death. Z. Medical examination. The CRPC allows medical examination of the accused in certain cases, including rape cases. Such examination is done by a registered medical practitioner at the request of at least a sub-inspector level police officer. Key challenges in BNS. Z. Age of criminal responsibility. The BNS sets a low age of criminal responsibility, below 7 years, rising to 12, contrasting with global norms, Germany, 14, England, Wales, 10. A 2007 UN recommendation suggests a threshold above 12. Z. Aspects of sedition retained. The new provision retains certain aspects of the offence of sedition and broadens the range of acts that could threaten India's unity and integrity. Z. Weight community service. BNS lacks clarity on community service definition and administration, contrary to the 2023 Home Affairs Committee's recommendation for specification. Z. Unaddressed women offence reforms. The BNS maintains IPC rape provisions without addressing Justice Verma Committee recommendations. IPC Section 375's narrow definition and the unresolved marital rape exception are notable concerns. 2. Vertical bar: the BNSS provides that any police officer can request such an examination. Z. Forensic investigation. The BNSS mandates forensic investigation for offences punishable with at least 7 years of imprisonment. Z. Signatures and finger impressions. The CRPC empowers a magistrate to order any person to provide specimen signatures or handwriting. The BNSS expands this to include finger impressions and voice samples. Z. Timelines for procedures. The BNSS prescribes timelines for various procedures. Vertical bar, for instance, it requires medical practitioners who examine rape victims to submit their reports to the investigating officer within 7 days. Z. Preventive detention. The revised bill has introduced a strict timeline, i.e., the detained person must be produced before the magistrate or released in petty cases within 24 hours. Key highlights of the Bharatiya Sakshya Act, 2023. Z. The admissibility of electronic records. The IA allows electronic records to be admitted as secondary evidence and specifies the procedure to admit such evidence. The BSB amends this to clarify that electronic records produced from proper custody will be considered primary evidence unless disputed. Z. Police confessions. Any confession made to a police officer is inadmissible. Confessions made in police custody are also inadmissible unless recorded by a magistrate. Vertical bar, however, if a fact is discovered as a result of information received from an accused in custody, that information may be admitted if it distinctly relates to the fact discovered. Z. Documentary evidence. Under the IA, a document includes writings, maps, and caricatures. The BSB adds that electronic records will also be considered as documents. Z. Oral evidence. Under the IA, oral evidence includes statements made before courts by witnesses in relation to a fact under inquiry. Vertical bar, the BSB allows oral evidence to be given electronically. Z. Secondary evidence. The BSB expands secondary evidence to include I. Oral and written admissions, and 2. The testimony of a person who has examined the document and is skilled to examine the documents. Conclusion. Z. The revised criminal law bills redefine specific offences while enhancing the penalties for crimes like terrorism, mob violence, offences against the nation's security and sovereignty, and various others. Z. However, the true essence of overhauling the criminal justice system might not be fully realized since achieving lasting change demands not only legislative amendments but also a comprehensive revaluation of institutional cultures and practices, aiming for a more just and effective system. Key issues. Z. Electronic record tampering. Despite the Supreme Court acknowledging the vulnerability of electronic records to tampering in 2014, BSB lacks clear safeguards for ensuring the authenticity and integrity of digital records, as highlighted by the Standing Committee on Home Affairs in 2023. Z. Challenges to facts discovered in police custody. As per the IA, information obtained from an accused person in police custody can be used as evidence if it directly relates to a discovered fact. This provision is retained in the BSB. Vertical bar, the Law Commission, 2003, recommended that fact discovered in police custody using threat, coercion, violence, or torture should not be provable. Z. Admissibility of fact. The BSB retains the provision of IA that information received from an accused in police custody is admissible if it relates to a fact discovered, whereas similar information is not admissible if it was received from an accused outside police custody. Vertical bar, the Law Commission, 2003, had suggested redrafting the provision to ensure that information relating to facts should be relevant whether the statement was given in or outside police custody. Key issues in BNSS. Z. Extended police custody. BNSS permits up to 15 days of police custody, disruptively authorized during the initial 40 or 60 days of the 60 or 90 days of judicial custody. This may result in bail denial for the entire period if the allotted police custody is not exhausted. Z. Expanded use of handcuffs. Police now have the expanded authority to use handcuffs not just during arrest but also during court production, contrary to a SC ruling deeming such use as inhumane and arbitrary, violating Article 21. Z. Conditional rights of the accused. While BNSS retains CRPC provisions allowing release on a personal bond after serving half the maximum imprisonment for all offenders and one-third for first-time offenders, exceptions exist for life imprisonment cases and when multiple offences or cases are pending, potentially affecting bail eligibility. Z. Property attachment. Unlike CRPC, which allows the seizure of movable properties, BNSS extends this power to immovable properties. However, it lacks the safeguards present in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act concerning property attachment from proceeds of crime. 3.